work?
Oh yes, he likes that. Yeah, there was just an amazing amount of fish in that area, and you know, I think you know that size limit that might be really helping him out. You know, allowing more of these fish to reach that spawning age, and just by far the best triple-tail fish I've ever seen in my entire life. Saw on it, or he ate it?
He ate it.
Oh, nice job, dude. Get the hook in that guy.
He's a good one.
That's the one we want. Look at the size of him, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah! Come on! Oh! He ate it! He ate it! He ate it! Nice, baby! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about! I thought you said you had to...
Got him, relax.
Oh! Dude, he just ripped my boat off! Oh! Awesome! Look at that big boy! Woo!
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, with Captain Tom Rowland and Captain Rich Tudor.
What's up, man? Love the new boat.
Yeah, man.
Looking awesome. I brought some extra ice in case we catch something we can eat.
Good.
We're gonna have some fun in this thing, man.
Yes, it is.
This is beautiful. Love it. Love it. Man, you got the 26. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's really, allowing us to do that, most all the inshore stuff, and then, when it's nice, run offshore so much more comfortably. So
Yeah.
let's go test it out and see what we can do. What do you want to go for today, you think?
I don't know, you were telling me the tripletail was happening.
That's a great option, yeah.
Try that.
Yeah.
Love those. Those are terrific to eat.
You bring your flies.
Brought some flies.
Good. That might be an option with the tripletail if they're happy. All right, well, let's do it.
Okay. Brand new 26. Love that boat. It was such a cool opportunity to get the new boat and take it to a place we didn't really know exactly what we were going to do, but you had a pretty good idea. You had seen some tripletail over there. Yeah, it was, the day started out, it was breezy. I was hoping we'd go offshore that day, but it was blowing 15 or more, so really, could have made it, but it was a little uncomfortable. But that's the versatility of that boat, man. We just ran to the other side of the bridge and went back in the Everglades, and this is an area where we've been seeing a bunch of tripletail. I was telling you about that, which was exciting, and we could also hit the beach and maybe catch some snook and redfish. So these tripletail are doing stuff that nobody's ever seen before. They're instead of just being on the buoys like we found them before, they're just floating out in open space, like right off the shoreline, right off the Cape Sable shoreline, right off the Flamingo shoreline. What's the limit on tripletail?
I think it's 2 per person. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but they 2 years ago they raised the size limit from 15 inches to 18, and man, all of a sudden it was better than we'd ever seen it before. Maybe that increased size limit allowed more of them to breed, and it's hard to imagine that in 2 years they repopulated that quickly, but it's really, really good. By far the best anybody's ever seen it.
I love the versatility, like you say, that we could have gone offshore, we could have stayed inshore, we could have fished, some deeper flats with the trolling motor on that boat. It really opens up a lot of opportunities for us. But one of the opportunities that we needed to take advantage of, whatever's happening with the tripletail, you were saying that last year they had changed the size limit.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, they had changed the size limit. So you have that going on. Maybe we hit the spawning opportunity for these fish. Maybe the fish are having some kind of rebound, but for whatever reason, there were a ton of them over there. And they weren't necessarily doing exactly what we've done before when we go looking for the tripletail. We'll look for some sort of structure, a crab buoy, and sometimes you can run down the buoy lines and there'll be one floating on every single buoy. But this one was different. They were just out there kind of floating, and you told me that's exactly what we were gonna see, and sure enough, it was exactly what we saw.
He's gonna eat though. No? Yep, he's looking for it.
Found it.
There he is. Oh, look at him jumping. That's awesome.
That was terrific.
That's cool, man. How cool is
God,
that?
I can taste him in the pot right now. You're exactly right. He got a remora on him.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful this thing is, man. Some people would say ugly on the outside, beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, so they raised the size limit from 15 inches to 18 inches. That guy's right on the, he's probably over 18. It just seems like, I don't know, he's gonna be right close to, probably too small. But there's tons of them this size, and then there's some really big ones around too.
Wow. Just love those things, how prehistoric looking they are. You know, the funny thing about the tripletail is that by outward appearance, you might not think that that's a fish that would be so good on the table, because, you know, the fish that we have down here that are known to be such good eating, like the yellowtail snapper, the mahi, those are beautiful fish. You look at them and you're kind of thinking, man, I'd like to eat that fish. That looks like an incredible fish, and they have such great colors and everything. The tripletail is kind of it's a camouflage fish, but it doesn't have a lot of bright colors. It doesn't have any bright colors, in fact. But you can't judge a book by its cover, because that fish is particularly good on the table.
Let this guy go, he's a little on the small side.
Right on, that's a good start. Great start. Exactly, you couldn't have called it any better. That's exactly the way you said it was gonna go down.
Put the hook in that guy.
He's a good one.
That's the one we want. Look at the size of him, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you in part by Hawks Cay Resort. Find what lures you. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. B&W Trailer Hitches, towing adventure. Mercury Marine, go boldly. St. Croix Rods, the best rods on earth. Waypoint. And by Ameritrail. Daiwa. Marathon, Power Pole, and Vibe.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, we were running back in the Everglades, and I wanted to hit a couple of spots of snookfish on the beach. And as we were heading up to those, we were like, there's a tripletail, there's a tripletail. It was just an incredible opportunity. I'm like, all right, well, let's go hit this spot while the tide's right, and then we'll come back, you know, when the sun gets up higher, because it was only gonna get better when the sun got up higher. So we pulled up on that spot on the beach there, and you know, started making a few casts with the jigs, and right away, you know, it was a couple snook, 20+ inch trout, which is really nice for around here. That's a beautiful spot, that you know, take kids camping, and just a gorgeous place to, you know, catch a fish. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
This is we bring the kids camping here, and we camp right on the beach here, and fishing off the shore, and we catch these trout like this. And,
Fry them up.
Yep.
The best shore dinner you could have. If you could catch a 30-incher here.
Not as big as I see them. And then after we caught a few fish right on the beach there, the snook and stuff, you know, the sun was starting to get up, and really that's that, you know, opportunity to sight fish is just as good as it gets when, you know, we would say between, you know, 10 and 2 o'clock when the sun's straight up and down, you know, and you could just see the water was just getting brighter and brighter, and as we were running back looking for the tripletail, it's just, you know, like, there's one, there's one, there's one. I actually don't think he's that big, he just looks...
There's another one.
There's another one. That's a big one. No, not much bigger. That's crazy, there was a second one there. I wonder if they're spawning. There we go.
Little dinky, teeny, tiny one.
Yeah, I definitely saw another one that was just past us. There must be so many more than we're seeing.
I think there are multiples. In a lot of these places where we're seeing one, there's probably a couple there.
Maybe they are spawning. Maybe that's what this is.
Definitely one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, I guess I'll just start ignoring these little ones and just try to cover more ground, because there's some super whoppers.
Let's catch a super whopper. Perfect. Came right out. Got my shrimp back. Well, we've never done anything like this before.
It is pretty incredible. And what was so cool about this is often when we've tripletailed before, we're pretty much having to constantly run and find another one. There were so many that we just pulled back off plane, and we really didn't have to jump on plane again. It was just idling around at that point. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's one.
The 26 was the perfect platform for that on that day, because you got the Mercury Verado that's so incredibly quiet that, you know, we could just basically idle right up to them, and then you're on the second station up there looking, and you could see from further away. But as the sun started to get up, I don't even think you really needed to see from far away.
That one might work. Oh yes, he likes that. Eat it. Oh,
Got him.
yeah. Isn't it crazy? They're just laying around all over the place like this.
It's gonna be 17 and a half. Fun. Once you get it in there, you gotta kind of finesse it too, because the wind's blowing more than you think.
Yeah.
There's a possibility this one might be a 1/4 inch over the line, but I think he's an inch under the line.
All right. Very cool.
What's your bet? An inch
I don't
under?
know. I'm gonna measure him.
An inch
He's
under.
close enough to measure.
You know, there was a lot of them around all winter when we were fishing on the buoys. Probably the best I've ever seen. I mean, they were just all over, but they were all small. But this group we were finding that day, there was quite a few of them big enough, and we kept measuring them, pull them up there, and it was 17 and a half. And 17 and a half was like, all right, it's fun fish, but he's not coming home for dinner.
That thing's 17 inches.
Yeah. Ooh, he's close.
17 and a half.
Close.
Just like that cutthroat trout. Had to catch
When in
one.
doubt, throw him out.
When in doubt, throw him out.
Now that's the nice thing about this net. You can not have to handle them too much, and the rubber coating keeps them good.
Something tells me you can handle that fish a lot. Heavy duty looking prehistoric dude. I just wonder how many fish were in there in that area. I mean, maybe a mile or two, and how, maybe it even went further than that. Maybe it stretched up 20 miles where they were doing this. I just wonder kind of how many fish were there, because everyone we saw, there were a couple others underneath them, and I mean, who knows how many fish are in there. And when we're seeing them buoy up and buoy down, is that the same fish every time? I don't know what was going on there, but there was no doubt there were a lot of fish there.
Yeah, there was just an amazing amount of fish in that area, and it seemed like all the smaller ones were just ravenous. We threw a jig in there, and they ate it right away. But when we got on those big ones, we saw a lot of really big ones. They were hard to feed. We'd bring that artificial lure right in front of their face, and they'd follow it, and they just wouldn't commit. You know, that's where we really, you know, having a live shrimp or a live bait really would help. We just didn't really have many shrimp. You only had a couple in the live well, just because it's hard to get them this time of year.
How did he not see that? He probably saw it. That probably is like the dog you were talking about. He saw it.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to eat it.
Yeah.
I made him upset when I rolled it across his body.
So you took a smaller shrimp, which I thought was cool, and you took your artificial lure and you put one of the smaller shrimp on with it, which was really smart, because now you had the smell and taste of the natural shrimp, but you had the weight with the artificial, so you could get the distance. And
yeah. Now you played a dirty trick on me, because I was all ready to go, and here's the biggest one of the day, and you're like, that one's too small to waste your shrimp on.
I don't know. He's probably not big enough. I don't want to waste your shrimp. I'll try this on him.
You like that?
Oh, he's pretty big. I bet he makes it just at 18.
That's your trick, huh? That one's not big enough. Don't waste your shrimp. Then you catch him.
That's a decent one. He might make it. Maybe he's just at 18.
Dirty trick, man.
Yeah, he might make it.
He might make it. That one might be 18 and 3/4. 18 and 3/4.
All right, we got a winner there. All right.
you know, the coolest thing about the Tripletail to me is the eating. They are delicious. One of my favorite fish there is to eat. My wife loves them, so you know it's definitely scoring brownie points anytime I bring Tripletail home. So I was hoping to catch one, you know, big enough. They raised that size limit a couple years ago, and it used to be 15 inches. Once they raised the size limit to 18, it's hard to catch an 18-incher.
Let's throw him in the live well.
That big one was just the opposite of the rest of them. He ate that real good. Here's another one right here.
So over the years, we've used braided line for really everything that we do now, both inshore, offshore. I've gone 100% braided line. If I need extra stretch or something like that, or or clearer line, I can just put a long top shot on my braid. So the braided line has really just gotten better and better over the years. And there's a couple different types of braided line in general. These 4-carrier lines and 8-carrier lines. You might have heard that terminology thrown around a lot. Well, what that really means is they're weaved together. And the 4-carrier is 4 weaves going together, and 8-carrier is 8 weaves going together. And what that means for us as fishermen is kind of the difference in performance. The 4-carrier line, which we've used for years, that's kind of like the first stuff that came out, and it's really, really great quality. I find that the 4-carrier is a little more abrasion resistant, a little thicker than the 8-carrier lines, and it works really good. I actually like that for certain applications. It's not quite as long casting, but it's certainly durable. I like it around the mangroves. I like it for bottom fishing, things like that. And really on the bigger rods, I like this a lot for the reason, like if I'm using an 80 size reel for big sharks or offshore or something like that, I like this 4-carrier line because it doesn't show any spin. If you reel against the drag, it doesn't flatten out. So I do like that for my bigger rods. But the 8-carrier has a lot of advantages too. The 8-carrier lines are smoother. It's usually a little thinner, smooth to the touch, doesn't make noise going through the rod tips, so a lot of guys like it because of that. It's thinner, casts further, but the downside to it over the years is it hasn't been quite as abrasion resistant, meaning if it gets around a mangrove or something like that, it might break a little quicker or stuck on the bottom. So that's kind of the downside, a little further casting, a little thinner, a little quieter, but not quite as abrasion resistant. Well, that's the way it was until this new product just came out. Daiwa is making this J-braid, and this is the 8-carrier Grand, they call it. It's a new technology that's allowing this 8-carrier line to have the smoothness and all the advantages of the 8-carrier line, but it has the same abrasion resistance, or better, than a 4-carrier line. So really you're getting the best of both worlds there. You're getting the thin diameter, the long casting, but it's actually more abrasion resistant than the 4-carrier. So this is really cool. Excited to put this into use and test it out. Really make your line decision on what you need the most. Do you need abrasion resistance around the mangroves or on the reef or something? Do you need the smooth casting, smaller diameter? Or you can make the decision to go with Daiwa 8 Grand and get the best of both worlds.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Yellowfin, only in a Yellowfin. Hook. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Florida Marine Tracks, clarity in navigation. Buff, for the ultimate sun. And by Motor Guide. Nikon. Wiley X. Lithium Pros. And Burnowin Rod Holders.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the show. You know, we'd like to get to know you better, carry on the conversation, and the best way to do that is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Go ahead. Facing away. Looks good. He's following it, or he ate it?
He ate it.
Oh, nice job, dude. Get the hook in that guy.
He's a good one.
That's the one we want. Look at the size of him, dude.
Yeah, buddy. It's like a barramundi. Right on. Ooh, there he is. That's what we were looking for right there.
That's a whopper.
Different kind of fish. Different caliber. And there's another one right past him on the same line. One of the best things I thought was that we were able to go into a small area and fish for that one fish. We had enough shots that we could make that our entire day. The Tripletail for me is more of an opportunistic thing, like, oh, there's one, and you try to catch it. This was cool to me because it was just for hours, just one after another. There they are, there they are. And there were a lot of fish there, and they were doing something that that I had never seen before.
Yeah, there was just an amazing amount of fish in that area, and I think that size limit, that might be really helping them out. Allowing more of these fish to reach that spawning age, and just by far the best tripletail fish I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh,
yes,
look at
sir.
that big whopper there.
Right on.
That's the one we've been
We don't
waiting
even
for.
need to measure that one.
Yeah, I don't think we need to measure him. That is a big one, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right on.
Pretty amazing
There was
fishing.
another one right down the pike too. That will be dinner.
That's a lot of dinner there. Whew. Wow. Nice job, Tom.
All right, gentlemen, here we are.
All right. Yeah.
So good.
Thank you.
It's great. You're very welcome.